Ezra English. Idioms Series. Short Lessons. Topic: Foods and Drinks.
A couch potato. The phrase couch potato is often used to describe a person who spends a significant amount of time sitting on the couch, watching TV or engaging in other sedentary activities. This idiom is commonly used to describe someone who is lazy and inactive, with little to no physical activity in their daily routine. In everyday conversations, you can use this idiom to refer to someone who spends most of their days sitting on the couch, not engaging in any physical activity. For example, you could ask your friend, "What did you do all day? Were you just a couch potato?" This question implies that your friend may have spent their day doing nothing but sitting on the couch and watching TV. When responding to a question like this, it's important to be sensitive and respectful of the person you're referring to as a couch potato. Some people may take offense to this term if they feel it's an insult to their lifestyle. However, if used in a friendly and non-judgmental way, the term couch potato can be a playful way to describe someone's lazy habits. For example, you could respond to your friend's question by saying, "Yeah, I was definitely a couch potato today. I didn't feel like doing much of anything, so I just vegged out on the couch and watched movies all day." This response acknowledges your friend's question and shows that you're comfortable admitting to your lazy day, without feeling judged or insulted. In some situations, the term couch potato can also be used to encourage someone to be more active and make healthier choices. For example, you could say to a friend who spends a lot of time sitting on the couch, "Hey, let's go for a walk or hit the gym together." You don't want to be a couch potato forever. This statement suggests that being a couch potato is not a desirable lifestyle and encourages your friend to make healthier choices. Another situation where the term couch potato could be used is in a job interview. If you're interviewing someone for a job that requires physical activity or requires them to be on their feet for long periods, you could ask them, "How do you stay active and avoid being a couch potato?" This question shows that you value physical activity and are looking for someone who is active and motivated. In response to this question, the interviewee could say something like, "I enjoy hiking and playing sports, and I make sure to take regular breaks from sitting at my desk to stretch and move around. I also try to incorporate physical activity into my daily routine, like taking the stairs instead of the elevator." This response shows that the interviewee is aware of the importance of physical activity and has a plan for staying active and healthy. To sum up, the term couch potato is a playful way to describe someone who is lazy and inactive. It can be used in a friendly and non-judgmental way to refer to someone's habits, or it can be used to encourage someone to make healthier choices. When using this term, it's important to be sensitive and respectful of the person you're referring to and to avoid using it in a derogatory or insulting way.
The apple of one's eye. Have you ever looked at someone or something and felt an overwhelming sense of affection and adoration? Perhaps it's your significant other, your child, your pet, or even your favorite possession. This deep feeling of love and admiration is what the idiom, "the apple of one's eye," is all about. The phrase has its origins in ancient literature, particularly in the Bible. In the book of Deuteronomy, Moses speaks to the Israelites about how God has chosen them to be his special people. "For the Lord's portion is his people, Jacob is the lot of his inheritance. He found him in a desert land, and in the waste howling wilderness. He led him about, he instructed him, he kept him as the apple of his eye." In this context, the apple of his eye refers to something or someone that is cherished and protected above all else. Over time, the phrase, "the apple of one's eye," has come to mean a person or thing that is cherished and valued above all others. It can be used to describe a deep love or affection for someone. or to express how much someone values a particular possession. For example, imagine a mother looking at her child and saying, "You are the apple of my eye." This statement communicates the idea that the child is the most precious and cherished thing in the mother's life. Or, someone might say, "My vintage guitar is the apple of my eye." In this case, the speaker is expressing how much they value their possession and how important it is to them. This idiom can also be used in a more negative way. For example, someone might say, "He used to be the apple of my eye, but then he betrayed me." In this case, the speaker is expressing that they used to deeply value and cherish the person, but their actions have caused that affection to be lost. In a speaking test, you might be asked to describe someone or something that is very important to you. In this case, you could use the idiom, "the apple of my eye," to describe how much you value that person or possession. For example, question: can you describe someone or something that is very important to you? Answer: my grandmother is the apple of my eye. She has always been there for me, offering guidance and support whenever I need it. Alternatively, you might be asked to describe a time when someone betrayed your trust. In this case, you could use the idiom in a negative context. For example, question: have you ever experienced a betrayal of trust? Can you describe what happened? Answer: yes, I had a friend who was the apple of my eye. We were very close, and I trusted her completely. However, I later found out that she had been spreading rumors about me behind my back. It was a very hurtful experience.
A bad egg. A bad egg is an idiomatic expression that is often used to describe someone who is considered to be dishonest, unreliable, or morally corrupt. The phrase is derived from the idea of an egg that has gone bad, meaning that it has become rotten and is no longer good to eat. The term can be traced back to the 19th century and is often associated with the British upper class. It is believed that the phrase was initially used to refer to a person who had gone astray or become corrupted, often due to a lack of proper upbringing or education. Today, the expression is still used to describe someone who is untrustworthy, unreliable, or who has a poor reputation. It can be used to refer to someone who has a history of dishonesty, theft, or other negative behaviors. In a conversation or speaking test, a bad egg can be used to describe someone who has a negative reputation or who has a history of questionable behavior. Here are some examples of how this idiom can be used in context. Question: can you tell me about your previous boss? Answer: well, he seemed like a nice guy at first, but it turns out he was a bad egg. He was always taking credit for other people's work and never took responsibility for his mistakes. Question: what do you think about your neighbor? Answer: oh, he's a bit of a bad egg. He's always starting arguments with people in the neighborhood and has a history of getting into trouble with the law. Question: do you know anyone who has a reputation for being untrustworthy? Answer: yeah, there's this guy I used to work with who was a real bad egg. He would always show up late to work and would steal things from the office. In each of these examples, a bad egg is used to describe someone who has a negative reputation or who has exhibited negative behavior in the past. Overall, a bad egg is a useful idiom to have in your vocabulary when you want to describe someone who is considered to be untrustworthy or unreliable. It's important to note, however, that this phrase should be used carefully and with consideration, as it can come across as judgmental or accusatory if not used appropriately.
A hard nut to crack. Have you ever encountered a problem that seemed too difficult to solve? Or perhaps a person who is challenging to understand or persuade? If yes, then you might describe them as a hard nut to crack. This idiom refers to a situation or a person that is extremely difficult to deal with or understand. The origin of this expression dates back to the 1700s when people used to crack nuts with a nutcracker. Some nuts, such as hazelnuts or walnuts, have a hard shell that can be difficult to crack. In the same way, some problems or individuals can be challenging to deal with, and this led to the emergence of the idiom, a hard nut to crack. This phrase is often used in situations where someone is facing a difficult challenge or trying to solve a complex problem. For example, a group of scientists might describe a challenging research project as a hard nut to crack. Similarly, a teacher might say that a particular concept is a hard nut to crack for their students. The phrase is also commonly used when talking about people who are difficult to understand or persuade. For instance, a salesperson might describe a potential customer who is not interested in their product as a hard nut to crack. Alternatively, a therapist might describe a patient who is resistant to treatment as a hard nut to crack. When used in a speaking test, this idiom can be asked or answered in various ways, depending on the context. Here are some examples of potential questions and answers that can use the idiom. Question: have you ever encountered a problem that was difficult to solve? Answer: yes, I have faced several hard nuts to crack in my life. For example, during my previous job, I had to deal with a complicated customer who was unhappy with our services. It took me several weeks of negotiation and compromise to finally resolve the issue. Question: can you think of a person who is a hard nut to crack? Answer: yes, my boss is definitely a hard nut to crack. She is very demanding and has high expectations of her employees. It can be challenging to meet her standards, and she often gives us difficult tasks to complete. Question: do you enjoy solving problems that are hard nuts to crack? Answer: yes, I find it satisfying to tackle complex challenges and come up with innovative solutions. It can be frustrating at times, but the feeling of accomplishment when you finally crack the nut makes it all worth it. Overall, the idiom, a hard nut to crack, is used to describe challenging situations or individuals. Whether it's a difficult problem or a person who is hard to understand, this expression reflects the struggle to find a solution or gain insight. In a speaking test, this idiom can be used to illustrate one's problem-solving skills, perseverance, or ability to handle challenging situations.